Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Exit to Excel. I'm your host, Latanya Shaw. And if you are joining us for the first time, then welcome. And if you're coming back after having watched us before, then welcome back. Now, for those of you that are just joining us for the first time, then know that you have come to the right place if you are currently in the job market. This is the place where we take career setbacks and stagnation and turn them into outstanding opportunities with truth, tools, transformation, practical advice, and positive energy. Now, you will start noticing this week that we're going to start showing up in your feed more often. And that's on purpose. So instead of giving you one long episode every week, I'm now bringing you three power packed episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So, why the change? Well, because I want you to have deeper dives and more actionable strategies that you can start implementing right away. Now, each episode going forward is going to be around 20 to 25 minutes, and they're designed to get straight to the point to give you the practical tools and fresh insights, and yes, my signature AI prompts so that you can stop just applying and start competing because the job search is a game. Now, as you've been hearing in the news lately, 2025, the job market is extremely challenging. And so I want to make sure that you're getting the information that you need to stand out from the crowd. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Please share this with people who can use this information because according to the numbers that just came out, for the first time in over a decade, we now have more people in the job market looking for jobs than there are actual jobs. So it makes it more important than ever that you are executing on proven strategies to help you stand out and get the job that you deserve. So, what I want to talk about today is a tool that everybody needs and probably everybody has, and that's the resume. However, we're going to talk about the resume in 2025. So, here's the truth: your resume has only 6 seconds to get the attention of a recruiter, a lot of times, a lot less. And that is not a lot of time to prove that you belong in the game. So most resumes fail miserably. And why is that? Because they read like a job description instead of proof of results. And they tend to only list your activities instead of impact. So when they reach the applicant tracking system, the ATS system, they die right there and they never even make it to the recruiter. But we're going to stop that today because we're going to approach the resume completely different so that we can get through the ATS systems. Now, there are two things in particular that people tend to ask me when it comes down to applying for jobs in the resume. One is about these AI driven auto application systems. Now, I do not subscribe to those for several reasons. One of them mainly because you are uploading a resume and you're using that same generic resume to apply for several jobs. There's no customization, and it's obvious that you are applying through an AI tool and not putting a lot of effort into it. Now, FYI, a lot of ATS systems are now sophisticated enough that they can automatically detect when an automatic application tool is being used. So it's automatically filtering them out. Secondly, companies are also using AI tools to blacklist these same applications. So instead of really applying, you're really not going anywhere. And you're being put on a blacklist and being prohibited from applying for jobs with that particular company. So that's the main reasons why I don't subscribe to those particular systems. Now, there's another method of using AI to write your resume or customize your resume. If you're not using AI in the right way, one, it is reading like AI wrote your resume. Two, there is no customization at all. And again, it's not getting through the ATS system to be able to get in front of a recruiter to take a look at it and determine where they want to pick up the phone and actually conduct a phone screen to possibly invite you to an interview. So, because of that, we have to approach the application process and the resume very differently. Because as the AI tools that you're using to apply or write your resume is getting smarter and more progressive, so are the tools to detect these resumes and these application tools. So we have to, unfortunately, I hate to tell you, go back to somewhat the old school way, but I'm going to help you do it a lot better and a lot faster. And one of them is using AI prompts that will transform your resume into a true competitive advantage. So I'm not saying don't use AI at all. I'm just saying that we have to use it in a way to your benefit, because at the end of the day, AI allows you, use the right way, to apply smarter and to apply more strategic. Now, let me explain to you why this personally matters to me. Over my career, I have reviewed hundreds of resumes when I worked for Fortune 500 companies like Honeywell and Cognizant and Merck and Barclays. And I've also been in the room when decisions were made about who we're going to bring into interview and who gets ignored. Now, on the flip side, I've also been on the other side of the table and in your same shoes. Um, I've been laid off 4 times, and I've also been in the job market. So I know what it's like spending all that time having to rewrite your resume when your back is up against the wall, when you're questioning your value, and you're not even sure like what the next chapter may bring. So that combination, being on the inside as an HR business partner and recruiter and interviewer, and being a layoff survivor, that's the reason why I do this. And I can tell you hands down, the people who are getting interviews and winning at the game are writing resumes that prove their value and not just a long history of the jobs and the tasks that they've done. So, first of all, let me just say that if you haven't been listening to the podcast and you haven't listened to the earlier episodes, I'm going to catch you up because there's a lot of information that I've given to kind of give you a strong foundation. So I'm going to give you a quick 101 on that right now. But if there's anything you have a question about, I encourage you to go back and listen to the previous episodes. Now, one of the things I'm going to talk about is your brag book. Now, your brag book is either a notebook, a folder, a file where you have kept evidence of your absolute best work. It can be notes that you've written. It can be, notes of commendations. It can be awards. It can be trainings or whatever. But think about your brag book as your personal highlight reel. Again, it's a collection of your best professional accomplishments. And hopefully you've been keeping a record of these over time, because we're going to refer back to these to build your winning resume. And it's not just, senseless claims that, hey, you are a hard worker or you're a results driven leader, but it's actually real, quantifiable, undeniable wins. Now, the way we capture these wins is through a process of what I call the STAR plus story. Now, a lot of you are already familiar with the STAR method, right? So let's go over that again real quickly. The S stands for situation, the problem or challenge that existed. The T stands for task, what you were responsible for. The A stands for action, what you actually did. And then the R stands for the measurable outcome. Now, the thing that gets the ball over the line, The home run is the plus. The plus is what it meant for the business and what it proves about you. This is the piece that takes your story from average to championship level. Now, so think of it as your brag book is your raw material, right? That's your inventory. And your resume is where we're going to take the best of those brag stories and condense them into powerful, impact proof bullets. So, if you want to go deeper about the brag book, because I have a whole strategy on how you create a brag book or how you can update it so it's a lot more effective. And I also have a podcast episode about these Star Plus stories and how you start using the things from your brag book to create these stories. And you can find those in episodes 3 and 4. But for today, we're going to focus on the things that you need right now to build that outstanding resume. So, the first thing I want you to understand is that the resume is not about you because the companies don't really, truth be told, they don't care nothing about you. They care about what you can do for them. And that's the way that we need to structure your resume. And that is what off the bat is going to help you stand out from everyone else. Now, your resume has 4 key components. One is your header. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because it's really quite simple, but it's amazing how many people get this wrong. So, one is keep it simple. Okay. It's the KISS. Keep it simple. Okay. So, you just want to have your name, your formal name or the name you go by, your city and state. Please don't put your street address, your phone number, your email address, and your LinkedIn profile. Now, a couple of things here. For your email address, if you're using something old like Hotmail or AOL, please change it and get something more up to date because when we see a Hotmail or AOL address, we're automatically thinking, okay, this is somebody who's a little bit older and who may not be as savvy with technology as we would like for them to be. That's the one thing. Secondly, if you have a cutesy email like hotpants@gmail.com or Tootsie or whatever, I would also encourage you to get something a little bit more professional, even if you're just using it for your job search. But that's also very important because that is the first impression that we're getting of you is from that header and your email address. Now, when it comes to your LinkedIn profile, if you are able to, if you know how to put it in your resume as a hyperlink, then that way, when I get your resume, if I want to take a look at your LinkedIn profile, I can easily click on the hyperlink. It's going to automatically take me there. So to that end, you want to make sure it has the www dot or have the full HTTPS ://www. Again, something small, but something very important nonetheless. That's the first component, your header. The second component is your value proposition statement. Now, this is replacing the boring objective statement that we've probably all have used in the past. Your value proposition statement is different in that it is your elevator speech. So, an amateur objective statement, so to speak, is, for example, a results driven professional seeking growth opportunities. That doesn't really tell me a lot. And also, I'm probably going to see this on 20 or 30 other resumes. A value proposition summary or statement reads something like, hey, sales strategist with 8 years driving revenue growth in competitive B2B markets, consistently ranked top 10% with 95% client retention. See the difference? One is very general, very generic, very boring. And the other one is like, whoa, oh, okay. This is somebody that I need to talk to. Okay. Now, the third component is what I call your trophy case. This is where your brag stories go. You want to have them at the top, right? Because again, as a recruiter, we are going to scan the first third or fourth of your resume and make a quick decision in terms of whether we're going to continue reading because we want to learn more, or hey, this person doesn't really have what I'm looking for, and tossing it to the side. So we want to have this section up at the very top. And we're going to call this section either your key accomplishments or strategic impact. And it's in this section that we're going to have your 3 or 4 greatest achievements and accomplishments, your greatest hits, so to speak. Now, the fourth component is your strategic experience. So instead of copying your, job description and things that you did, you're going to drop in your star plus stories, but in very impactful, succinct bullet points. And these are going to be placed under each role. So here is going to show how in each job you added value, and not just how you executed on a lot of tasks and responsibilities. So that is the framework, right? Your header, your value proposition statement or summary, your trophy case, and your strategic experience. So that is the framework. Now, let's talk about how AI is going to make this faster and sharper and way more competitive. So, this typically is where either most career advice doesn't talk about how to use AI the right way, or they don't talk about how to use it in the right way. Now, just so you know, I am also an AI consultant. I've taken a lot of classes and been certified in a number of AI certification programs, and I've taken this information to use it in my career consulting and my career services to allow it to make a real difference and not just cookie cutter in a way that everyone else is using it. So the first AI prompt that I'm going to give you is what I call the ATS decoder. And the ATS decoder is actually going to point out the areas that you want to emphasize on your resume. So I'm going to give you this prompt. I'm going to paste it below so you can easily copy and paste it. And we'll also show up on the screen so you can, screenshot if you desire. So I want you to put this prompt in just like this. And it reads, analyze this job description. And you're going to have pasted or uploaded the job posting. Then the prompt continues, identify the 10 most critical keywords and synonyms. Show me how to integrate them naturally into my accomplishments without keyword stuffing. And then flag any industry buzzwords that could signal expertise. So that's the prompt. Now, why does this matter? It matters because you are now teeing up your AI of choice, whether it's ChatGPT or Claude or another one. You're now teeing it up for your AI tool to start thinking like a recruiting screening system, like a true applicant tracking system. So instead of guessing, you now know the actual language of the role before you write a single thing or a single bullet on your resume. It's very important, okay? So that's prompt number 1, the ATS decoder. The second prompt I want you to use right after that one is the resume bullet transformer. So this is the prompt. Again, we're going to put it down below, show it up on your screen. And you need to put it in just like this. Turn this star story into a resume bullet that proves business value. Keep it 1 to 2 lines. Include metrics and outcomes. Make it recruiter ready but ATS friendly. And here's my story. And that is where you want to be able to put in the context from your job history so that the AI tool, ChatGPT or whatever, is able to change it in a way that it makes sense, is put into correct context on your resume. Now, you want to follow that up with Ask me any questions you have in order to execute this ask or task effectively. Then that way you are engaging in a conversation with ChatGPT or Claude or whatever, so that it has a full understanding and the full context of what you are asking and is able to dig deeper and get more detailed information if needed. Now, why is this resume bullet transformer prompt important? It's important because once you know the keywords, the most important keywords of that job description, you're able to feed them appropriately in your brag stories. And then you're able to use AI to condense them into very effective results driven bullets. And these are bullets that neither the ATS filter tool or human eyes are able to ignore. Now, let me say this. AI, of course, as you know, is going to give you the outputs. 98% of the time, you are going to need to massage the outputs, meaning that you need to make it in your voice and in your style. If you take the output exactly as it is and put on your resume, again, more than likely, it's probably going to sound like ChatGPT or Claude. So even if it's just a matter of wordsmithing a little bit, moving some words here and there, switching out some words, do it so that your resume sounds like it was written by a human. Okay. Now, for those of us who are in the job market, we may have been unemployed for a period of time, or maybe you took some time off to tend to your family or whatever, and you have a gap that you're having difficulty trying to explain. So I'm going to give you this third prompt that I'm calling the gap reframer. Now, this prompt specifically helps you reframe your gap in a way that is not going to be a negative in your job history. So this is the prompt. Help me reframe this career gap. And then you want to enter the context for why you had the gap, whether it's a layoff, you were a caregiver, you want to pivot. Then write a one-line explanation that positions me positively and focuses on professional growth and readiness. So why is this important? It's important because a lot of times we have difficulty explaining why we have gaps in our resume, but pin right there. Let me just say that if you are unemployed and you've been in the job market for 6 to 8 months, it's nothing to be ashamed of, because it's no secret how challenging the job market is. So to me, I think you just need to be forthright with that and say, hey, my role was eliminated in my last job, and I took some time to really figure out what it is I wanted to do next. And so that's the reason why I had the gap. If you were, tending to your family or whatever, or your mother re-entering into the job force, then, explain that too. But you can use AI to help you explain it in a way that is very, professional, and it doesn't necessarily raise a red flag. Okay. So see how that flows. First, we want to use AI to decode the job description. Then we're going to use AI to transform your brag stories and your accomplishments in a way that is going to get through the ATS filter and get the attention of the recruiter. And then you're going to use AI to reframe anything that may be coming up or that may come up as a red flag on your resume. So that's your AI resume optimization workflow. Now, let's be clear, these are only 3 prompts that you can use in this process. Now, I have a full AI resume prompt guide that has not only these prompts, but a dozen more prompts that goes into detail and cover the formatting, tailoring for different industries, tailoring for different career stages, and even advanced ATS testing. So if you are interested in this free guide, comment guide below, and I'll be more than happy to send that to you free of charge. Because again, I'm here at your service because I want you to win. Okay. So here's your framework, very easy to put into place. very easy to start working with right now. So these are things I want you to do this week. Okay. Here's your game plan. Pull out your current resume, highlight anything that you see that's a duty instead of a result. So, how do you know? It is just saying what you did, it is not stating what the situation you were in, what you were expected to achieve, the action that you took, the result, or the business impact. So, if it's not giving you that information, then you need to rewrite it. Three, I want you to write down three brag stories. If you don't have a brag book or a collection of these things, then take some time out to think through your, past few roles where you really had the opportunity to shine and write those down because you'll want to start working with those to put them on your resume. Next, use prompt one for one target job description. Okay. Pick a job description that you really like, right? And you can use that as a model and as an example to create your customized resume. Then use prompt number two to turn those stories into sharp bullets. And then finally, if you have a gap, use the prompt number three to reframe it. So that's how you start transforming your resume. That's how you start truly customizing your resume to get through the ATS system and get it in front of a recruiter to make them say, hey, this is somebody we need in this company, and to pick up the phone or to send you an email to invite you to a phone screen. So let me leave you with this. Your resume is your competitive equipment, and you cannot afford to leave it to an auto application tool to spray and pray your resume everywhere. If you're serious about the game, you don't show up with amateur gear. You're taking the time, customizing it, and being very strategic about how you're going about applying for these jobs. So if you're tired of wondering why your resume isn't working, why your phone is quiet, why your email is empty, well, now you have a chance to stop guessing and start proving. Okay. Now, again, if you want my full library of AI prompts, the same ones that I use with my clients to help them land interviews faster, again, comment below with hashtag guide, and I'll be more than happy to send it to you. Again, it's a guide that's packed with specialized prompts you won't find anywhere else. You've seen how detailed these prompts should be, and they're specifically designed to make your resume a magnet for recruiters and hiring managers. So don't let your resume get lost in a pile. Use AI to make it undeniable. So that is our episode for today. I think I've made it with under the 25-minute mark. So I hope it's been helpful for you. Again, my name is Latanya. They call me LT. I'm your HR insider, your secret weapon, and also your AI career strategist. Now, remember, we're going to start dropping every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday with these short, very focused episodes to give you the information and the tools and the AI strategies you need to compete smarter in today's job market, because it is getting challenging and more challenging. And unfortunately, we're in this situation where there are more people looking for jobs than there are actual jobs. So, to that end, make sure you're subscribed, make sure you like, make sure you're following on my social media, because I'm also giving tips and insight all during the week at Exit to Excel on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. And share this with someone else who needs it, because I know there's a lot of people out here who are struggling, who need some kind of framework or strategy to help them land in the job that they want and deserve. So until then, stop applying, start competing, and always bring your A game to the job search. And I'll see you on Wednesday. Take care.